Hello, happy folks. I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing day today. So today for my top 10s, or sometimes we'll just rank things, like I rank all the King Kong films and that sort of a thing. I thought it would be fun for you. I typically will do films, so I thought it would be fun for you. Last week I ranked the 11 Star Trek series, which I like more than the Star Wars film franchise, which also did my ranking of the previous week. So this week I thought it would be fun for me to knock out my top 10, my all 13 films from the Star Trek franchise ranked for you folks. Now these are theatrical ones, not the ones like Section 31 on Paramount Plus and so forth. And also after Disney took it over and sort of was very unsuccessful and sort of set it to the wayside, I think that the Star Trek films are better, I think, as an overall concept than as a series, although there are certainly some uneven ones, which we'll begin with those and that sort of thing. But here we go. Now, just a heads up, I changed phones last night. My phone stopped charging, and this phone is a chunky phone and that sort of thing. And so if you see me looking down, right, and I've got a lot of comments on it too, trying to get this phone working during this, I apologize for not giving you the eye contact you deserve. But that's the reason why. All right, let's get started. All right, so number 13 is Star Trek V, The Final Frontier from 1989. And the idea here was sort of to lampoon televangelists. But the jokes don't land, the direction doesn't land. Nothing here works for me. I don't like the beginning, and that sort of thing. I don't like the end. I don't like the surprise and that sort of thing. I just don't think it works. Nothing about this film works. All right, and after this film was found out, everybody changed like a lot of seats and that sort of a thing. And then William Shatner stopped becoming a director. Number 12 is Star Trek Nemesis from 2002. This movie was so bad it killed the franchise. There's nothing about this. The script doesn't work. The concepts don't work. The story doesn't work. The ending doesn't work. The acting doesn't work. The casting only works. And that sort of thing. And it's not the direction. Nothing here about this film works. And that's why it killed the franchise. Number 11, and then we'll hit our top 10, is Star Trek Into Darkness from 2013. Nope, sorry. It's just a bad film, but it's bad from who they cast as Khan. And they had to change it because of how physically different he was. They had to write a reason into the script in order to say, oh, that's the reason why I don't like that. And that sort of thing, to how they played with it and the concepts and said, this isn't a retelling of the Wrath of Khan, but it clearly was when you started to look at it. And that sort of thing. I don't like that either. So for those reasons, it's my number 11 film. Top 10, Tom. Number 10 is Generations, Star Trek from 1994. It's not that bad. You can watch it. I don't think you'll lose any time or sleep when you do so. It's not that great either. But I think that the TNG side of it works so well. It's just how they treat Kirk. He just really isn't done justice. It feels like he was just brought on the screen so the two can meet and then move on, all right, for marketing purposes. All right, next is Star Trek Insurrections from number 9 film. And this is from 1998. This lines up a fun story concept, and I think it tells it well. But the problem is that it's all right. I think it's a great episode of Star Trek. It just isn't a great telling of it on screen, and that sort of thing. I think a lot of people would say, I think Insurrection would have been better as a episode of TNG, right, rather than just being this epic film. It doesn't have the epic scope of First Contact to hit higher, right? But I think it's a better film than Generation, which is why it's hitting a little higher. Next up is Star Trek the movie. This is the launch of the Kelvin timeline from 2009, the number 8 film overall. It's great on the action. I think he absolutely nailed the action. I think the casting's good too. I just don't think that how they do the story, the script, the storyboarding, how they handle our canonical characters, and that sort of a thing in order to tell their story. their way. I don't have any issues with them telling their story their way. I just don't like how they had to change some stuff up. Just say it's an alternate timeline and move on, right? You don't have to do anything crazy. All right, number 7 is Star Trek the Motion Picture, number 1 from 79. It might be a little slow at times. I get it. The pacing just isn't that great, but it's gorgeous. It's another one like Insurrection. It's a great concept. It's very, very moving. The visuals are gorgeous, right? And that sort of a thing. But yeah, unfortunately, it's a little slow at times. Right, number 6 is Star Trek. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, 1984. I love what it brings. It's the only good odd number one that most people will generally say, yeah, Star Trek 3 is pretty good. Search for Spock. I love what it brings. Love what it brings to the table. I love the concepts. I love what happens. Good stuff. All right, now top 5 time. Number 5 is Star Trek Beyond from 2016. This is an absolutely true Star Trek film. It adds things to the canon. Does a lot of great stuff. Love what it does. I love they got sort of outside of J.J. Abrams' umbrella and did a good, solid film that just does it. It adds stuff to the canon. I wish it had been a bigger success, like the previous two. But you get it. Number 4 is Star Trek First Contact in 1996. I adore what they did to sci-fi horror. I love how they sort of elevated the Borg and put them on the screen in a major way. I love it lots. You can tell that the budget was spent well too. Number 3 is Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home from 1986. I love the comedy. I love the character beats. I love that there's actually no real bad guy here because the probe is a probe, right? And there's no real action beats either, right? You're not having any major like space battles like the previous one. So I like that. All right, or even ones on the planet too, like 2 and 3. Alrighty, so I like that. I like that it's more than that. I think that this is one anymore. It's just classic. Number 2, Star Trek is also Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan from 1982. You'll love that synergy, people. Love it lots because it has that great action, that great submarine drama. It's got great character meets too, great quotes. It's a great film. I love it lots. And now the number 1 in my film, but probably number 3 film on most people's list. It's okay. Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country from 1991. I just adore the Shakespearean drama. I love what's happening here. I love the tides that it tells. I like it how it turns Kirk into a little bit of a bad guy. That sort of a thing, and does so within the realms of stuff. After Star Trek 5, you can see how they just went back to basics. They brought back in the team from Star Trek 2 and such. Absolute classic, love it lots. All right, now, so I love this. Here are my top 13 films again, ranked. Number 13 is Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier. Number 12 is Star Trek Nemesis from 2002. Number 11 is Star Trek Into Darkness. Number 10 is Star Trek Generations. Number 9 is Star Trek Insurrection. Number 8 is Star Trek, the reboot Kelvin Timeline without anything. Number 7 is Star Trek 1, The Motion Picture. Number 6 is Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Number 5 is Star Trek Beyond. Number 4 is Star Trek First Contact. Number 3 is Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Number 2 is Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. And the last one is Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country for you folks. So there you go. Those are my rankings of them. Have you seen these films? Would you agree or disagree with the rankings? What would yours be? Just let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. As a reminder, I'm not a trained film critic. I didn't go to critic school and that sort of a thing. I don't make movies for a living, and I don't consider YouTube making movies. It's just a passion project, right? So your opinion will be just right as valid as mine is. So I'd love to hear more from you, what your thoughts on. And there you are. Like I mentioned before, I do a lot of these top 10s. I recently did a lot of top 10s here. I've done top 10, mostly films. I've done top 10 films like comedy films, independent films, foreign language films, action films, martial arts films, tons of films in the 3 genres that our channel covers: science fiction, fantasy, and horror, and some sort of superhero, future superhero top 10s too. So you can check this out. Tomorrow I do something called Serial Saturday that I dedicate to the forgotten sort of serial telling genres and stuff like that. They used to tell stories all up and down movie serials and TV serials, but we sort of moved on from that, and I think we forgot. And I think it's great. So very, very sad. So I like to check them out and sort of do a dive into it and that sort of thing. So recently, I've done things like 2 Tarzan serials, the first 2 seasons, Doctor Who from TV serials in the 60s under William Hartnell's first Doctor. I've done lots of other things that I do, like the Flash Gordon or Buck, Rioters, and that sort of thing. We're going to start with Zorro next week, but tomorrow will be the last one before I go and do the Zorro series. And this was a shorter 12 episode. Well, it's like less than 3 hours long, and it was basically against of neo-Nazis striking them from being taken down after the World War II, and it is they're called Spy King, and I think it's something Defenders or Towers or something like Tower Watch or something like that against them. So check that out tomorrow. And then previously, you can on Wednesday I do older video game reviews and that sort of a thing too. So you can check them out too. I just did a few reviews. I'm currently doing the Baldur's Gate series. And so I just did Siege of Dragonspear from about 9 years ago. I just finished Baldur's Gate 1, and I'll finish Baldur's Gate 2 and Baldur's Gate 3, a lot of those other things and such. I sometimes do more modern stuff, like I did those sorts of things, but I've recently done the movies from 2005, or, the Heroes of Might and Magic 2 and 3 series from the 90s. That were classics. Put them on the map in a major way. I also did, stuff like Star Control 2 or the Evil Genius, that sort of thing. So check those out. And then on Monday, I do things of older in the RPGs or war games like Battletech and that sort of thing that are older. A few tickets there. I'm currently reviewing modules from Dungeons & Dragons, that sort of a thing. So I'm currently doing the B series, basic modules for Beckoning and that sort of thing. I just finished B6, I just finished The Veiled Society by David Cook, and the next one is Terry Heckman's, which I'll love because Terry Heckman's a big name now. Him and his wife's is Rohacia and such. I love it lots. And also, if you know him from Ravenloft, he put that on. This is what put him on the map in a major way. All right. He's actually brought into the company because of that, because he published this. And then they all said, for independently. And they said, this guy's a great guy, so let's bring him into the company. I said, that's how he got hired, and then they published it with him later. Ready, so check that out too. And then the other 3 videos a week I do are older video game reviews of things that you read, rather. Like there's 3 genres we mentioned before: science fiction, fantasy, and horror, right? So if those sound like your cup of tea and things that you're interested in, well then welcome to the channel. Have a seat. I think you'll enjoy your time here. And then please do all the YouTube stuff, like hit the subscribe button, the like button, share, and hit the bell icon to be notified of my 7 videos a week. But basically just share and watch. Those are the key ways that you can grow this channel. All right. As you can tell, that's also the passion of the channel. It's also where the name comes from too. The worst thing about new books, it's a quote by a French philosopher from the 19th century, Jacques Joubert, who said in his book that the worst thing about them was they kept us from reading the old ones, right? And our passion for, in this case, the new movie, the new video game, the new novel, right? And the passion for this new stuff, right? We've sometimes forgotten that they are standing on the shoulders of giants. So let's check those giants out too. Not that they're bad, they're not. And I have done some newer stuff too, but you get the idea. I like to delve deeper dive into these older things. So if that's your thing, then I think you'll enjoy it. Alrighty, and there you are. If you got to here to the end, I just want to pause and take a moment just to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing it in watching my videos, right? Because we all have so many things that we have happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.